In a League of Their Own podcast is brought to you by Smooth My Balls. Are you sick of snagging your nuts or cutting yourself with a generic Bic razor or generic clipper? Well, now you don't have to worry. Smooth My Balls offers a 5-star below the belt care for men, starting with the Turf Chopper 3.0, the next level razor that provides a very smooth and clean finish with no cuts on your sack. And coming in for the closer, you got the Pube Muncher 1.0, a compact mini vac that cleans up a job with no hair left behind. Head over to smoothmyballs.com today and use code LEAGUE at checkout for 15% off your top of the line men's grooming kit. Again, that's LEAGUE, LEAGUE, for 15% off. Smooth My Balls, shave like a pro.
Rep Sports. Rep Sports is a leading supplement and nutrition company that provides everything from pre-workout and protein to recovery supplements. If you're looking for a healthy pick-me-up, Rep also offers Raise Energy, a zero sugar drink that helps with workout and recovery, mental focus as well. Head over to repsports.com today and use code LEAGUE for 15% off your order. That's LEAGUE for 15% off.
Golf kicks. Tired of wearing the same old boring golf shoes? Not the most comfortable? Now you don't have to worry. Customize all types of shoes, from Crocs to flip-flops, sneakers to boat shoes, and wear them in style while you rip it up on the course. Head over to golfkicks.com and use code OWN20 at checkout to get a 20% discount on your order. That's OWN20. Screw your shoes.
Streamer Loot. Want to rep the best up-and-coming sports podcast? Of course you do. Head over to streamerloot.co today and check out our first line of merch. We have t-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, and stickers. Again, that is streamerloot.co to check out our merch.
Hey everybody, it is Wednesday, June 30th, 2021. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals is underway tonight as Tampa looks to take a 2-0 series lead. And are the Bucks in trouble with Giannis's knee injury?
There goes that man's jock strap.
Oh my God, did you see that? America's team? Yeah, right.
Oh, baby, it's a big day in sports. There's nothing like battling it out with your teammates all season long to go win a championship. Green Bay's got it this year. Huge move for them. I think it's going to be a game changer.
We have a lot to talk about this busy week in the sports world. Welcome to the In a League of Their Own podcast.
All right, everybody, again, welcome to the show. It is Hump Day. Diving right into things here. Couple things to talk about in the NFL. One being the Saints signing right tackle Ryan Ramczyk. I think that's how you say his last name.
Former Badger.
To a 5-year, $96 million extension. So good to see him getting a payday. Again, with the extension, looked like Sean Payton kind of was talking about it, and he still left a question mark on the quarterback position. He wasn't ready to, because they said, well, you got your starting tackle re-signed. It's like, what's going on with the quarterback position? And he didn't really have anything to say about it. I mean, as every kind of quarterback room is this time of year, unless you're the Bucks with Brady or Mahomes or Kansas City with Mahomes, every room, if a guy shows up during training camp and balls out, you can't really leave them out of the question. Kind of like with Chicago right now, they're shooting themselves in the foot saying, oh, Andy Dalton's our QB1, and then here comes Justin Fields balling out from every practice I've seen him doing, to where now they're going to be shooting themselves in the foot, to where do they want to be wrong and say that who the QB1 was going to be and be wrong, or do they look like a jackass and have a different guy come in? So either way, but yeah, it was a good signing for them down in New Orleans.
Yeah, agreed. I think that really helps their front five, and whoever is standing behind him. I picked Jameis Winston to win the MVP this season, so we'll see.
Yeah, and then the other thing I had to mention was that the Colts became the final NFL team to receive full approval for full stadiums come this fall. So that was kind of quick. I thought they were only like halfway through the league. which it's been pretty
No,
quiet
it
then.
was down to 2 teams. There was really only 2 teams, and then it came to 1, and then Colts were the last one. And then obviously people were probably like, "Oh, we can't be the only team. We're gonna lose so much money if we're the only team in the NFL not having a full stadium."
Yeah, which from my understanding, it came down to it says local government passed it. So
Yeah, the state of Indiana, fucking people are pricks there. So
yeah.
I'm surprised that it actually went through, but
Yeah, but like you said, you don't want to be the only because then you're out millions and millions of dollars if you're half capacity, 3/4 capacity over a 17-game season plus playoffs if they make it that far. Like all these teams are behind on money. Well, they should be. The NFL's got deep pockets, so who knows how much money they're behind. But yeah, those are the 2 main points I had for today. I don't know if you had anything else in the football world to throw out there.
just one. All the stuff about Zach Wilson, the unknowns about him. People were asking former high school coaches about what they thought about him, since no one really knows what he can do, since he's had really limited time playing in college. He didn't really play that much, so has a small sample size. And opposing coaches say he can really throw the ball. He can really move a team down the field efficiently. So it's going to be interesting to see how well that translates over to the NFL, as a lot of people dominate in college and they come to the NFL and they ain't shit. So that's how it goes with all sports. There's always a top dog at every single level, and you don't really know what that's like until you get there. So I hope he does well. Hope he does well for the Jets. It'd be nice to see them have a decent season after it seems like they've been, so many since Brett Favre, the last time they made it to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, that was a long time ago. So hopefully they found their guy.
Yeah, again, like you said, it's a big question mark no matter what. It's less than 1% of college athletes make it to the big level. And it's probably about that for the people who make it, who stick it out and stay relevant in whatever league. So you have 1% chance to make it, and then probably another 1% chance to actually be a top name in your sport once you do get to the professional level. Again, guys like Trevor Lawrence, again, he's made it that far, but now he's got the shoes to fill to make it. He could be a bust, and in the NFL,
and if he is, he'll be the biggest bust of all time.
And in the NFL, and really every sport where it's a win now because of how young the turnover is of these athletes, to where they're coming out of college, and a lot of them really have 1 to 5 years of prime, unless you're a kicker or a quarterback, or a goalie maybe in hockey, or a pitcher. I mean, there's a handful of exceptions to where you can have a long career where it doesn't take as much of a toll on your body. But yeah, you really have one game, half a season, 1 full year to kind of make your impact. Otherwise, there's a younger, cheaper, better guy that's going to be coming out of the draft the year after you that would be happy to take your position.
Yeah, all sports are turning into superstar sports, where every kid coming into the sport is going to be a superstar or is a superstar. Like, the only people that you do see who have long careers are superstars. It's getting to that point now where even these 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old vets who've been making it along the way, it's not how it is anymore. There's, like you said, there's somebody younger who's equally as talented, if not better, who's cheaper, who can do it now. And that's the way that it works. It's a business. They still have to make money. And like, as sad as it is, but that's, if you don't want to lose your job, then be the best. You know what I mean? Like, put the work in and really do what you're supposed to do if you want to stick around. And the people that do it are the ones that stick around.
And even then, like, sometimes that doesn't guarantee it. Look at like Tom Brady last year, arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and basically every category imaginable. The Bucs are the only team that pursued him, so he busted his ass. Well, the only team that, I guess, well, there's teams who were after him, but that was the one that eventually stepped forward and actually put in the work to go get him. Because other ones were there in the process, and maybe he wanted a little bit more money or something negotiated, and then they one by one started backing out and either stuck with the guy they had or went a different route.
Yeah, because there's a big question mark because he on the shop, I believe it's Chad Johnson's show on HBO where he brings in people and they talk in a barbershop. He brought Tom Brady in and he talked about it. He didn't name the team. He never name dropped the team or the coach or whatever or the quarterback, but there was more than one team in Tampa involved, and it came down to two teams that he was seriously going to go to, and it came down to the team saying, we're going to stick with this guy. So Tom Brady said, okay, fuck you. You're going to stick with that guy. All right, I'm going here. And that's why he ended up going to Tampa. So no one really knows.
The two teams in speculation are the Raiders and 49ers are the two teams that the conspiracy, the people who dove into it and did the research.
And I'm guessing it's the Raiders sticking with Carr.
Mm-hmm. That's the one I was leaning to too.
Makes sense. It makes sense because Jimmy G, he ain't getting stuck with since they took a quarterback. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't sticking with him anyway.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that it would be the Raiders. I was thinking also maybe like the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
A team that can win now that's got a great defense. The Colts even. Oh, you're gonna fucking take Rivers? All right, fuck you. I'm gonna go down to Tampa and win then. You know what I mean? Like that could have been it too. The Rams and Goff. If Tom Brady would have won the Super Bowl if he was on the Rams too, you know what I mean? Like that team they're basically the Bucks, but built different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Basically the point of that was again that Tom Brady busted his ass for 16, 17 years. And even then it only came down to one team that ultimately, what do you want? Well, we got you. And they made it happen to where there's a handful of other teams that stuck with their guys or just decided to back out on negotiations. Like the greatest quarterback of all time was not worth it to 31 other teams, supposedly.
It's not one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah.
Like, especially his story too is just so crazy. Like the 7th round, all of a sudden he gets his chance when Drew Bledsoe gets hurt, who is an MVP caliber quarterback. He comes in and never loses the reins after that. Like, talking about some like it's really going to be really interesting to see how Trevor Lawrence does. Like, I'm so curious to see how that works out for somebody who's been so successful his whole entire life, who's never lost a game, coming to the NFL, especially in Jacksonville too.
Yeah,
like,
it's going to be
in for a long season. I think
it's going to be a wake up call. Week 1 or 2, they're gonna. I don't know what their schedule is, but
he's a skinny little guy too.
He's got to beef up.
Get hurt.
He's one of the few guys that are still like tall, like because
tall bean.
Yeah, the NFL has been trending towards these smaller, quicker guys. Lawrence,
unless you're Ben Roethlisberger, where you're like 6'7", 210,
yeah,
250. He's a tank.
Which I think Lawrence has wheels for his size. Like
he does, but he doesn't use them often because he's got an arm. He's got an arm. He's got a good one, but that only gets you so far when you have monsters who are coming to rip your head off because they're getting paid millions to do it. In college, it's a little bit different. You got guys that got to go fucking study the next day. Yeah,
unpaid walk-ons that like, fuck this. I don't need
dude, if I ring my bell today, I'm not gonna be able to pass my class because I might lose all my knowledge. Like, school's more important to a lot of these people who aren't superstars. And that's what you get when you watch college sports. That's why college sports is so fun to watch, because you never know who's going to win. There's a lot of upsets that happen all the time because of that reason. Or you just have somebody who's like the greatest player on the team, flunks a test the day before the biggest game,
stays out a little too late.
Or they're just, that takes them into a funk where they're more worried and rattled about school, where they can't think about the game, and that's all it takes. But in the NFL, they have one job, and that's to show up and do any professional sport. Show up and you do your job, and you do it to the best of your ability. And if you can't, somebody will do it.
Exactly.
They'll find that guy working at the grocery store. Literally.
Bill Belichick's got an eye for it.
Yeah, that's all I had for the NFL.
Yeah, that's all I had as well. Jumping over then to one of our main points for today. The Atlanta Hawks basically looked like the Bucks from Game 3 and Game 4 last night, won convincingly to tie the series 2-2. Again, without Trae Young, who's out due to a foot injury, and he looks to be hopeful be back for Game 5. And then on the other side, kind of the sports world kind of held their breath for a little bit, was Giannis going down in the third quarter last night with a knee injury. Looked like a hyperextension, landed on it. Had an MRI today, came back structurally good. No ligaments are torn. So more or less, it's going to be a matter of keeping the swelling down and how high Giannis's pain tolerance is going to be to if he's going to be out there for Game 5.
They got painkillers for that.
Yeah,
So he'll be good to go.
and Game 5 is in Milwaukee, so if there is a game to sit, this would be the game to sit for Giannis. But then they have to win at home, because if they don't win at home, to go on the road down 3-2 in Atlanta, where they've looked good all series aside from obviously Game 2. But yeah, I mean it's definitely going to be an interesting series going forward, depending on Giannis's production. Again, like we talked about last episode, with Middleton kind of being the Batman and Giannis being the Robin. That showed its true colors last night as well, to where Middleton was unable to step up and take on that leadership role. I don't think anybody scored over 20. I think Middleton had the most with, I think, 18 or
Yeah,
16.
he went over 7 from 3.
Again, not very good from the free throw line. Giannis was, I think, 1 for 5 or 0 for
2
4.
air balls.
2 air balls.
I just don't get this, dude. You airball 2 free throws, and then I'm gonna step back and shoot a 3.
And then airball that too.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Makes zero sense on how that team plays. But that's what you get for being a Bucks fan. You never know what you're gonna get. Literally, they could beat any team by 50, and they can lose to any team by 50. It really comes down to them playing collective as a team. And then let's go back to Trae Young's injury for a sec. He says he's got a bone bruise. He didn't look like he was hurt on his ankle at all last night, the way that he was dancing and shimmying on the sidelines. Nothing. It didn't seem like nothing was wrong with him. So you really wonder if it's something more than a bone bruise, if it's a tear, if it's something bigger than that, or if it was clear rest. Like, I know that's a risky move to pull resting him, but for how much they've ran him in the however many games they've played so far, and he's played all season long without missing, I feel like at some point you're going to have to rest, and you're going to need some rest. So maybe that was a rest choice, and letting who ran the point for them last night? It wasn't Patrick Beverly.
Lou Williams.
Lou Will. So they let him run the point, and that team took over defensively, and they shut down the Bucks. I mean, they played for about 8 minutes of the whole game, and as you said, the world stopped. The sports world stopped or held their breath when Giannis. I was out to dinner with my dad for his birthday, and all of a sudden I got five text messages that said, "Bucks are fucked. We're done. Oh my God." And I was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" Like, because I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, you texted me because I sent you a couple, and you texted me. You're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is fucked."
There's a handful of people that all were just like, "We're done," but no injury. Nothing major done. It's gonna come down to will for Giannis. How bad does he want it? Because this is the year to get it if you're gonna get one.
Yeah.
So all the big boys are done. All the big bad wolves are done. You're standing against Trae Young, who is 22 years old, and this Bucks team has been together for how long now?
Drew's the newest addition. Well, and Tucker, but both of them have been around for so long that they mesh straight in. They don't play like young people.
Yeah, and then let's flip to the other series. Clippers getting a big win last night, or 2 nights ago, excuse me. they're in the driver's seat, I feel like, right now in this series, as it seems Devin Booker and Chris Paul have gone cold.
Yeah. Again, playoff P's finally showing up. Right before we went live here, I was actually looking. Um, Paul George is leading the playoffs in points. He's second. He's second in the playoffs for like minutes, 3 points made. He's basically in like 9 or 10 different categories. He's in the top five for the whole playoffs. Which obviously the Clippers need without Kawhi. Um, they kind of were wrote off, including myself. I had them written off as soon as Kawhi went out. Even in the last series against the Jazz, the number one team in the entire league from the regular season. Oh, there's no way they get past them. And then they go on to win 4 in a row, take out the 1 seed, face elimination 2 nights ago. Again, the Clippers looked like they're going to put the series away, being up 3-1. They make it a 3-2 series, go back to LA tonight to where they could really turn the tables. I feel like the tables are turned already towards the Clippers' favor. Going home to a loud Staples Center, energy is going to be rocking there. If they can tie up the series, it's hard. When you're in the playoffs, you win 2 games in a row. It's hard to be stopped, especially without one of your star guys. Because who knows when he's going to come back? He could be back for the finals. He could be back for Game 7. Again, there's been zero talk about Kawhi. It's just been about whether or not Paul George is going to deliver night after night. There's been no talks on Kawhi. He could just show up out of the blue. Nobody knows what's going on with that. So, yeah, it's a fun part to right now to where instead of if the Nets made it through this far, it's like, okay, they're still the favorites. They're going to win the whole thing. All 4 teams in it right now have an equal shot, I think, to make it to the finals and to win the championship. All are facing adversity. Again, who knows if Chris Paul is completely healthy with his shoulder. Devin Booker broke his nose. Clippers are without Kawhi. Hawks are without Trae Young. Giannis is fighting a knee injury. Every team has adversity. Who's going to rise up through the ashes and who wants to go win that NBA title?
It's going to come down to who wants it more.
Exactly.
That's what it's going to come down to, and it's really cool that it is boiling down to this point. I feel like the Clippers have all the momentum right now in the series, stealing that elimination game at home. That moves them to 8-2 after they fell down to 2-0 in all their series. They've won 8 and lost 2. I really can't see them losing at the Staples. It's going to go back to the Valley, and it's going to come down to, I don't know. I feel like with Chris Paul out of the lineup, Devin Booker was asked to do so much, and it wore him out. And now that he's kind of coming back, and they're trying to, I feel like they just haven't found their rhythm back ever since Paul's came back like full time after his COVID thing. So it's interesting to see. Clippers are clicking. Hawks right now, they look like a team that wants it more than anybody else. The city of Atlanta would go insane if they ended up winning the title. And it's cool to see all the people coming out of the woodworks that you never see go to Falcons games coming to the Hawks game. Like Atlanta's vibing right now. They're having fun. I don't know. They got a whole city behind them right now, and Milwaukee's kind of in that same thing. But now with the whole Giannis question mark, it kind of feels like, just with what I received in text and stuff yesterday, like half the people bailed, almost, kind of like their hopes are gone. And when you have to play at home and you feel the city the air kind of sucked out of you, it's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough for the Bucks. But Middleton's the guy. He's the whipping boy, and he needs to put up at least 20 if the Bucks want to stand a chance. But it has been 2 shitty games in a row for Middleton, kind of. So usually when he has 2 bad ones in a row, he comes back with 2 good ones. So hopefully that's enough to get it done for the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, again, every team's facing their adversity. It's a matter of who's going to overcome it. And I guess the one good thing too, watching the game last night, is when Giannis got off the court after hurting his knee, he went, if he went to the locker room or just like down the tunnel to get looked at or whatever. He came back out and he was like pacing back and forth, like he wanted to go back in and play. But looking up at the scoreboard, they were down 20 and they sent them back to the locker room. So that between that and the results coming back negative on the MRI, those are two good things to see. Because obviously last night when he was probably a lot of pain, today he's just fighting a lot of soreness. I'm sure the trainers are with him every hour of the day today, icing them, ice heat, stretching, do whatever they got to do to get him ready for tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, if he's ruled out tomorrow, you could probably. I don't want to say the series is over, but it's hard not to say it, especially if Trae Young comes back. Again, the game is in Milwaukee. If it was in Atlanta, I would say for sure the series is over. But the fact that it's in Milwaukee, and if Holiday and Middleton can show up and carry that extra load, put up an extra 2 or 3 baskets in absence of Giannis, they have a chance.
Lopez comes in, plays big.
Yeah,
They can do it. And honestly, it might not be the worst. That losing Giannis, if he does sit out, if it's too painful for him to go, the rest of the team is going to feel that added weight pressure that they're really going to, we're going to see what the Bucks got, really. Like, who are the Milwaukee Bucks? Because everybody knows what Giannis does. He does it night in, night out, every single time. But who are the Milwaukee Bucks? What are you without Giannis? That's just like, you don't find out what your team's made of until you lose a top player, and you really have to dig deep and get it from everyone. So the Hawks seem to do it. They came together and they pounded the Bucks. So maybe this is the rallying cry that the Bucks need.
Yeah. Tomorrow night's going to be, again, an interesting game to see. And again, tonight, can the Clippers force a game 7? A series that we thought was going to go 4 or 5 games. Looks like it's got a potential to go 7, which is good for the Bucks again if they can make it out of the series. Again, getting a win either in it's going to go 7, or it's going to go. Well, it could go 6 because
6 is the minimum that it's going to go.
Yeah. So.
Every team's banged up right now. It's painful to kind of watch.
Yeah.
Since everybody's playing hurt, but that's another thing that you love to see also at the same time is people seeing their favorite athlete going out there and giving it everything they got, no matter how hard they're hurting, because they want to win a championship. That's what everybody loves to see.
Yeah. Again, Friday we'll dive into how those 2 series are looking.
Who do you got tonight?
Tonight, I gotta go with the Clippers again. They got the tables turned their way at home at Staples. Paul George seems like he's got things figured out. Patrick Beverley's a raw dude. He's always gonna get under the skin of guys on the other team. It's going to be a close game. It's probably going to be decided by less than 10 points. I don't see the Clippers blowing them out by any means. But I think the Clippers are going to force a game 7.
Only way I see the Suns winning is if Devin Booker puts on a historical, legendary performance like Kobe at the Staples Center. 40 plus.
Yeah, they're going to need that out of him. And Paul, too. He's got to step up a little bit. It's basically those 2 guys that kind of like Giannis, Middleton. It's Booker, Paul. Both got to show up. It can't be just one guy anymore. So then switching over to the MLB here. Let's see here. The Brewers are winners of 8 straight now. They had a 14-4 win Monday, a 2-1 win yesterday, and they just wrapped up game 3 of the series with the Chicago Cubs with a 15-7 final. So they have scored, 21 runs in their last 3 games. So averaging 7 a game, 15 and 14 between 2 of them. Move out now to, I think, a 5.5 or 6 game lead over the Cubs. It was fun seeing all the posts of Cubs fans, how they call American Family Field, Wrigley North, because they think that they come up and take care of the Brewers and they get swept. giving up 14 and 15 runs in 2 games. So Brewers are looking really good right now. Again, it's gonna be a matter if they can carry that past the All-Star break, but they're sitting in a really good spot right now. German Marquez was 3 outs away last night from giving the league's 8th no-hitter of the year. The Kai Tom led off the 9th with a single to break the no-hit bid. Though the Rockies would go on to win that game 8-0. Kyle Schwarber hits his 16th home run in 18 games yesterday, tying him with Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa for the most in that time frame. And then a couple points, kind of some bad news with the MLB. Mets GM Jared Porter banned through 2022. A couple months back, we talked about that, the accusations that came out with him for his sexual misconduct with a female reporter back from 2016. That investigation wrapped up this week, and he is placed on the ineligible list through next year, and he can apply to be reinstated in 2023. So even if he applies, when you're at that kind of level of an organization and fuck up that bad, I don't know if that team will take you back, or any team for that matter. That kind of tarnishes your name for really the rest of your life. So we'll see what happens with that. And then the last point is that Tyler Skaggs, for those who remember what happened with him, it's his 2-year anniversary of his death. It's still a big question mark. There was some foul play that supposedly happened where he was found dead in a hotel room. No drugs or no alcohol was believed to be involved, although there were supposedly some pills that were found in his hotel room. And the Skaggs family is going to be filing a lawsuit with the Angels on Thursday, as that is the end of some period to where they can't file lawsuits. And so on Thursday, they're able to do that. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, hopefully some questions get answered with that whole situation. Again, it's been pretty quiet over the last 2 years. Nothing was really found out as to what happened or who is responsible, but hopefully with this lawsuit, they get some answers.
Yeah, hopefully the family gets justice as well. Either way, that's sad, but definitely if you're a part of the organization, somebody in the organization knows what's going on and knows that you're abusing pills or doing drugs, whatever the case may be, somebody knew. And I really hope that at the end we find out who the person was. And I feel like the organization should be held responsible for that, because I don't know. Athletes want to become a part of a family when you become a part of an organization, and you hope that everybody cares about each other. And if you don't care that somebody died and you could have did something to, like, that's so shitty. So I really hope that the family gets justice out of this, and whoever knew, I hope, you don't let it go. You don't let it happen to somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Then switching over to hockey here, what you got?
All right, jumping into the NHL here. Game 1 was 5-1 Tampa. Nikita Kucherov now joins only 2 other players in NHL history to have scored 30-plus points in consecutive postseason. The other 2 were Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux, 2 legends of the game. I mean, Tampa's rolling right now. For all the people who said Montreal never would have been in the playoffs, they shouldn't be here. Game 1, it looked like it. Whether it could have been nerves that this team has not been in a Stanley Cup final in a long time. Plus, you also have so many young kids on your team, and you're playing against a team that literally just won the Stanley Cup last year. So they know what it takes. They just did it last year. They're trying to do it again. So could be nerves, could chalk it to nerves. Carey Price, Montreal goaltender, played a hell of a game. Could have been 8-9-1 if it weren't for him standing on his head all game that he did. Alex Killorn for the Tampa Bay Lightning, he's on their top line. He will be out this game with an undisclosed injury. They're not in the NHL, they never really tell you what it is until the team is eliminated. Then they have to come forward and disclose all those injuries. But as far as the media is concerned, as undisclosed as this part, they're thinking that it's a lower body injury. No one's sure though. So that's a big part in Tampa's top line that they're going to have to fill. They're going to have to get some depth, somebody step up from off the bench and take those first line minutes. This is the chance for Montreal to strike. If you're going to strike tonight's the night, you got to get it done. You got to steal one on the road. I can't see Montreal surviving if they go down 2-0. Tampa doesn't have that many fluke games. They don't really shit the bed that often, so you got to take advantage when they're down. Jake Evans, shout out to him, the guy who was concussed by the Mark Scheifele hit in the Winnipeg series. He took his first game back in lineup, game 1. I really hope that they go to Armia, though, back to Joel Armia. Now that he can get back in lineup, I really hope that they go back to him on that fourth line. He's literally number 2 of time on ice for forwards in the whole series, as he's the number 2 penalty killing guy. Dano, their top center, he's line 1, and then you have Armia, who's penalty kill group number 2, and that penalty kills stopped 30 straight up until game 1 of the finals. So you miss him, goal goes in the net, you get him back, and let's see what that penalty kill can do tonight, because I'm sure Tampa's going to draw a penalty at least at one point. And then just a couple other things really quick here. Chicago Blackhawks captain Jonathan Toews came out today and explained why he missed all of the 2021 season, as he withdrew himself. I believe it was December 20th. I think he came out and said that he was not going to play. Turns out he had chronic immune response syndrome, which doctors are now finding in a lot of athletes and a lot of people who really just wear their body down by not taking proper care of themselves and pushing. It turns out he couldn't do anything, basically. He would get sick from stress, just the amount of shit that he's put himself through to get to the point where he's at. And he finally had to take a second and make sure he got right with his body and right with his mind. And it took a whole hockey season for him sitting out to be able to recover to the point that he needed to recover to. He's back on the ice, and he says that the best is yet to come. He says he's feeling the best he has in years. And who knows how long he could have had this, this syndrome, this whatever they want to call it. It's really tough for athletes to keep it going year after year. And that's why the ones that do are legends, because, it's just so unheard of for people to do that. And so shout out to him for coming forward and, stepping out into the media and explaining what happened. So let's go from there. Wayne Simmonds re-signs with the Toronto Maple Leafs on a 2-year deal for the league minimum. He wants to come back. That whole team is looking to come back and hopefully strike one more time and give her another shot, as next year they're looking to get back to the regular season type of deal. So we shall see where the Leafs fall next year. Maybe they'll have luck outside of facing Canadian teams. You never know. But one crazy stat when it comes to Montreal and Toronto playing in the Stanley Cup or in the playoffs, whichever team has won the series between the two teams, the 2 times it's happened, has won the Stanley Cup. Both times in NHL history that it's happened. Whichever team won that series, which Montreal has, went on to win the Stanley Cup in 6. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens here. EHL simulator got Montreal in 7. There's a guy who's famous on Instagram throughout the playoffs. He'd toss up a ball and have 2 buckets sitting on his stairs, and his dog would hit the thing. It's got Canadians in 6. So the whole hockey world is pulling for Montreal, I think, just for them being such an underdog. This would be history. But also at the same time, Tampa Bay, they want it more than anybody else to go back-to-back. It's one of the most difficult things to do is to go back-to-back championships, especially under the circumstances that they did it. They went without their top player throughout the whole regular season. They went without their captain for a majority of it, and they're still right where they're at. It's very impressive for them to be able to do that. So shout out to him. Edmonton Oilers assistant, another kid who was the number 1 draft pick for them. He's kind of their number 2. I'd say he's their number 3 now that Draisaitl sold that role, but he signs an 8-year, $41 million contract with the Oilers. So he's locked down in Edmonton for a while. Don Granato is officially named the new head coach of the Buffalo Sabres. I've seen a lot of players come out and say that they're excited to have him in the building. So that should be good news for Buffalo fans. You do have a winner and a coach that's done it other places coming into your building. So that's pretty cool. Connor McDavid sets history in the NHL along with Wayne Gretzky. He becomes the second player ever to receive all 100 Hart Trophy votes, which is the MVP. I mean, no doubt he was the best player in the regular season. That's what the voting is all on, is the regular season. But too bad he can't get it done in the postseason where it really matters. He's got a great shot to catch Gretzky if he can continue to do that every regular season, but missing those postseasons are really going to hurt. I mean, for somebody who's trying to catch Gretzky in that sense, going out early in the playoffs, you're not taking that wear and tear on your body, so you stay fresh where you could do it again during the regular season, which it kind of looks like is the way that it's going with him. But if you really want to be compared to Gretzky, at some point you're going to have to win a cup. So without that, even if he catches them in points, I don't think it will stand up to him being the greatest or a great one, because you got to win to do that. And I think Gretzky won like 5 or 6 Stanley Cups. So that's pretty cool. Then last kind of thing here, former NHL veteran on the former line that was unbelievable for the Colorado Avalanche back in the day, Joe Sakic, Alex Tanguay, and Peter Forsberg. Alex Tanguay joins the coaching staff with the Detroit Red Wings as an assistant as they look to revamp their team. They went really young this year. They cut a lot of their old guys, a lot of their old weight. Look for this Red Wings team to make a strike here. Up until I was 25, so 3 years ago, from the time that I was born, 25 straight years they made the postseason. They've ran through a couple rough years here as they lost basically all their Hall of Fame superstars that they had. They all kind of ran their course and came to the end. Steve Yzerman, who was a part of that team, now that he's the general manager, he's kind of, I feel like, trying to rebuild what he had when he came through. They're going super young. A lot of their draft picks are really good. They're all they're a team who's been bringing a lot of their young kids up to at least get some experience on the ice, where you have some teams who hold on to a rookie until they're 3 years in and then giving them a chance. This Red Wings team is trying to find and assemble, I feel like, a new Red Wings dynasty that's about to take off again here for a whole bunch of Stanley Cup runs here. So shout out to the Red Wings for building that staff. It's always awesome when you have a veteran, a legend of the game, willing to come back and be on the bench to coach some of these young superstars, these young kids who are the next wave of hopefully giving back again. That's the only way the game continues to get greater, is when you have people who are really good at it choose to spend their time and give back what they know to the game. So that's awesome to see that happening. And then, yeah, tonight it's going to be an interesting game. We got starts at 7:00 Central. But yeah, I'm going Habs tonight. I'm going 3-1 Habs.
Yeah, I think they're going to bounce back too.
Or maybe even 3-2 or 4-2. But they're going to hit that 3-goal mark. They need to.
I have a feeling that the Canadiens defense is going to play really well tonight. I'm going to say 1-0 Montreal. In the third period is the goal too. No goals through first
Nothing
2
all
periods.
Game till the third. Yeah, I mean, that'd be a great game to watch. Those are usually the best games.
I'm gonna be eating my words here. It's gonna be a goal scored in the first 3 minutes. I'm gonna be like, all right, fuck.
If anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be Tampa.
yeah. If a goal scored in the first period, it's gonna be Tampa. I'll put it that way.
Well, even in the first couple minutes, their team, they're such an explosive team. They're like the Avalanche, where if they strike early, it's over. Like if they get you, they're like a snake. If they get you early and get you, it's over. Like it's tough to climb that hill when you're facing a team that is so deep and so fast.
Yeah.
Where
Well, it's gotta
Montreal
be
needs the lead, where they're the defensive team, where they get the lead and then they can shut down, lock down.
Yeah. And that's gotta be so tough to coming out, because like you're making your rounds around the ice, you're getting warmed up, and then the game starts. You're a step behind because of how fast that team is. To where, like you said, if they score early, you're already behind. So, like you said, they got to shut them down. They got to be the first to score, or at least make it until late second or third period before they let a goal in to at least wear them down. Because
Montreal's a defensive team. They can't go out and score 8 goals in a game. They're not that type of team. They're built around their defense and shutting down the teams that can do that. Where you give up a goal early in the game, you got to score a goal. You got to score 2 to win while continuing to lock them down, where they have to play more of an offensive game, and that's not their style. And when they're playing a run and gun game with Tampa, they lose every time. If it's run and gun, it's for if Montreal can't score first, I should say this. If Montreal can't score first, it's 4-0 sweep if Tampa gets the first goal every game. Just because of that fact, where Tampa, they can keep they're lightning. Like literally how they play is perfect for their team name, because that's how they are. You can blink your eye and see 3 strikes, and that's 3 goals in the back of the net. Like that team can strike so fast and so hard, but also at the same time, if you get something to weather the storm and it doesn't storm for a while, Montreal could be riding high and coasting to it's really going to come down. Oh, yeah. And then one thing I forgot to mention with the series, Shea Weber was fined, max fine, $5,000 for the slash on Kucherov on his hand. So it's going to be interesting. I bet we see some sparks fly tonight and some fights. Gallagher got pretty roughed up after he got tackled down onto the ice, basically with no helmet on. So I definitely see some sparks flying. I can look to see Patrick Maroon from the Tampa Bay Lightning get in there and mix it up. Also, Gallagher, his style is he's not as talented as Brad Marchand and the Bruins, but they play that same role. They're just a fucking rat. Like, they get in everyone's head. They're always around the puck. They're always in front of the net. They're always there when the puck's there. They can always score. He's just a fucking rat. And he needs to do his job tonight and really get underneath the Tampa Bay skin. I feel like Montreal needs a couple more power plays. They got to start getting some shots and getting it working. They can't rely on the solo game. Like they can't do what the Bucks are doing in the NBA, like the same thing. Like they need to play their team game, get the puck deep, work the puck low, get it to your defense for shots, and they bang and they grind it out in front of the net. They're not the superstar team dropping it between the legs, sauce pass backdoor. Like Tampa's the fancy ritzy team, like that'll do shit like that. Like it's such 2 different, like it's so crazy that like how Montreal shouldn't have even been here, and then you have Tampa, who is Tampa Bay. It's just like you can't get more of like a underdog type feel to this series for Montreal than any series I could. Like there's in sports that doesn't happen. You never really get an underdog that makes it to the finals, that has a chance to take down the top team.
Yeah, it's like a six, for football, it's like a 6 seed in a Super Bowl against an undefeated team, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the last team to do this was my Flyers that I can remember in 10 when they ended up losing to the Blackhawks in 6 in the finals. They ended up getting in to the playoffs on a shootout victory, and then another team, the Rangers, ended up losing a shootout, which if they would have won the shootout, Flyers would have been out. Then they won game 7, first 3 series, got to the finals and lost in 6. Where if it would have went 7 back in Chicago, just the magic of the season. I feel like they would have got it done, but they couldn't. Patrick Kane, that son of a bitch.
Yeah. Alpha, if that's all you had for hockey, I just had 2 more points to throw out there today.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I really got. Also just one other thing, kind of not related strictly to the NHL, but more like Olympic play here, as a lot of players are voicing that they want to play. Like they want to go play. Gary Bettman, however, the NHL commissioner, is voicing some concerns about how some people could be going overseas, catching some sort of disease, get sick or whatever the case may be, and bring that back to their locker rooms over here. And then the NHL season would have to shut down all because of the Olympics. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we're going to get college kids again or former pros, or if it's going to be current NHL superstars. And that's all I got.
Sounds good. And yeah, there's just 2 shout outs I want to give. For this week, it is the WIAA state championships for baseball going on just up the road for me in Appleton, Wisconsin. On Monday, got to go watch Division 4 Boysville Bulldogs pulled off the 4-0 win to keep their undefeated season intact and win a state championship. And then yesterday, alma mater, old high school, Coleman, they fall yesterday to Kenosha St. Joseph, 7-4. Nonetheless, state runner-up, state champion, just making it that far is always an accomplishment. So, yeah, just want to give a shout out to that, and great season to both of those teams.
Yeah, always good to give a shout out.
But yeah, that's all I had for today's episode. If you want to take us home.
All right. Well, if you
that
that was just funny how you said that. It just made me laugh.
Take us home.
Well, thank you everybody for stopping by. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to our channels: YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere and everywhere. You can go to Google, type in A League of Their Own podcast. And you can find our page there. Also, don't forget to check out the merch store. 4th of July is coming around. Father's Day just passed not too long ago. If you want to get a late gift for your father, get him some In a League of Their Own merch. Love to rep that. Also, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere associated with Anchor. Don't forget to click the 5 stars. Put any reason. You don't have to put one at all. Helps drive us up the charts, and we really appreciate that. Every single person that does that. Yeah, it's been a week here. I've been planning. Got a wedding coming up here in August, so I've been juggling those things around here. Yeah, 4th is also coming up here, so big day for America. Yeah, everybody's gonna get toasted. So. Be safe, everyone, too. Don't forget to make sure you're hydrating if you're going to be outside and doing all that good stuff. I know where we're going to be at this year. It's supposed to be like 97 degrees. So it's going to be a scorcher.
Yeah, we'll be back on Friday, though, to kind of wrap up the week for you guys. Again, we'll see what happens tonight with Game 2 of the finals, and then
Game 6.
See what's going on with the Clippers and Suns and Hawks and Bucks. So to break that all down for you guys on Friday and send you off into the holiday weekend.
Yeah, sounds good. We will see you on Friday.